We're joined tonight by Miss Angie Hampton. She is the CEO of the Egyptian Health Department. Angie, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. Now, if I may, I'd like to get us started here. You know, you offer vaccines at the health department, and even today, you know, President Biden announcing pretty sweeping vaccine mandates. Are you seeing more people come in now that Pfizer's vaccine has full FDA approval?
We have seen some increases in our vaccination, the absolute numbers for sure. Our overall percentages are climbing slowly, but definitely since the approval, we have seen some slight increases. And we also believe that some of that is related to the boosters or additional shots. So we've been giving those to those individuals who are qualified at this time.
Great, which actually brings me to my next question here. You know, the booster shots right now are approved for immunocompromised individuals. So is there a special screening process that those folks go through? How does that work?
There is, Julie. Actually, when they call, then we give them all of the criteria. It's a very specific screening process as to who is eligible at this time. Unfortunately, it's pretty limited, but we want to be able to get those boosters out to as many individuals that meet the criteria right now as possible. So when they call, and we've been publicizing the information as well that we're offering that, but when they come in, our nurses actually go through a screening with them to ensure that they do meet the qualifications for the booster.
Okay.
And then we encourage everybody to talk to their healthcare provider about whether or not, you know, the booster is appropriate for them.
Great. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You know, we hear a lot about contact tracing. You know, how does that actual process work? Because to an outsider like myself, it seems like it would be fairly tedious, you know, to kind of do all that comb through work.
Well, it is, and to tell you the truth, contact tracing, we've been at it for about 18 months now. These times are about the most challenging with this surge. Unfortunately, we are doing contact tracing with mostly students at this point. Through Egyptian Health Department and many of the local health departments throughout the state, we are focusing on the younger population, so the students, and working in tandem with the schools. And then the adults who are confirmed cases are actually being contact traced by what's called the IDPH surge centers. So primarily the local health departments, Egyptian Health Department specifically, we are doing contact tracing on students. So we are working with the local school districts and their school nurses to do that contact tracing. But it's quite a process, and our contact tracers, we start working the cases immediately. We have no downtime. As far as when a case comes into our surveillance system, is entered as a case, and then we immediately start working with the confirmed case as well as any of their identified close contacts, so that we can quickly do that necessary quarantining to help with individuals. And at this time, there are a lot of different options for quarantining, so that makes the contact tracing process even a little bit tougher. Plus, let's be honest, we've all been going through this pandemic for this long, and individuals are not necessarily wanting to comply. They don't really understand what it means, and so it's taking even extra time to ensure that, you know, individuals understand the importance of, if you're identified as a close contact and you do need to quarantine, depending on which option you fall under, that you are doing so. So it is a lot, and as I said, with the surge, we recognized that all local health departments across the state that were doing contact tracing, we needed more assistance. So that's when the IDPH surge centers were established, and right now they are primarily the ones working with adults, unless sometimes when we are working with the students, we go ahead and work the whole family unit if there are household contacts. So
thank you for that.
Yes.
And, you know, we've gotten some questions when it comes to testing. Are rapid tests as reliable as, let's say, a traditional COVID test?
Sure. The rapid tests have definitely played a significant role in the the monitoring and surveillance and being able to isolate and quarantine individuals quickly through contact tracing. Of course, the rapid tests are, they're quick. They're, like a point in time. So we can, if there's a positive result, then we can immediately, the testing site can let individuals know you need to go ahead and isolate because this is positive, but then almost always they will go ahead and get a confirmed lab, which is the PCR test most of the time. So the PCR tests are the most effective. They just take a little longer. Traditionally, they will take longer to get those results back. And when I say longer, we're still looking at, less than 24 hours at this point, and in many places much quicker than that. But the rapid tests have definitely been an effective tool at stopping the spread. They honestly have, because we've been able to isolate and quarantine individuals quickly as a whole system. So, yeah.
Right. And, when we talk about being healthy, I think some of us forget kind of the mental or emotional health aspect of this. And this pandemic has been tough, I guess, to kind of, what would you like to say to our viewers tonight?
Oh, wow. So it has. I mean, we know that this pandemic has changed everybody's day-to-day life for quite some time. So we've seen a lot of increased stress just across the board. But also, I mean, it's almost, there's a lot of emotional reaction, I think, that it's almost become an emotional pandemic too, because there's so much more stress over, I think, just this going on for so long. And then the divide that we have in our communities. And all of that creates more emotional reaction. And so we encourage people to do self-care. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Find someone that you trust to talk to, unwind, take a break from social media, or if you need to, or just continuously watching the news and being consumed with it all day. We encourage people to take a break. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. But it's so important to take those brain breaks too, and even time out just to rest and relax. So there are resources for people when they don't feel like they have any place to turn, or they just want an objective individual to talk to. The state of Illinois actually has what's called the Call for Calm line, and you can just text the word talk to a number. And I can give you the number, but it's 5-2020. So something like that. But it's the call for calm line. And that allows you, once you do that, send that message, then you're able to engage with someone and talk with them. And then, of course, all of the local mental health centers and schools have counselors that can be available to people as well. So I think we just want people to realize that it's so important to just step back, take some time, take care of yourself, and because it is so important, and we're really focusing on that with our kids too, absolutely, in our communities. So important.
Well, Ms. Hampton, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will have those resources on our website as well as this entire interview, WSILTV.com.